Welcome, everyone. My name is Debbie Carlson. I'm with LGBTQ Allyship, and I'm the executive director, and I use she and her pronouns.
Hola, el nombre de la señora es Debbie Carlson. Ella es la directora de la organización comunitaria Allyship y sus pronombres son ella, ellos.
I'm Olivet Foster, Program Manager for POCAN. My pronouns are she and her.
Ella es Olivet Foster. Ella pertenece a la organización POCAN, People of Color Against AIDS Network, y sus pronombres son ella. Thank you.
Fernando, why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Juan Fernando Luna, and I am the Civic Engagement Coordinator for Entre Hermanos. Mi nombre es Juan Fernando Luna y soy el coordinador cívico de la organización LGBTQ Entre Hermanos. Thank you.
Happy Pride, everyone. My name is Tweety Fatswesi. I am a community organizer with Utopia Seattle, and my pronouns are she, hers.
Ella es Tweety, ella pertenece a la organización Utopía y sus pronombres son ella, ellas. Thank you.
Well, welcome again. We are the Queer the Census Washington Coalition. We're a 15-member strong coalition.
Nosotros somos una coalición con varias organizaciones unidas para trabajar sobre el censo. Thank you.
Our mission is to increase the count of LGBTQ people in King County.
La misión de esta organización es elevar el conteo del censo en nuestras comunidades de Seattle y del sur de King County. Thank you.
One of my colleagues we're going to start off with a film. One of my colleagues will be doing that.
Vamos a ver un video y tendrá una traducción en español en la caja del chat.
Hi, everyone.
Thank
Just
you.
disclosure, we'll be showing a census PSA. In addition to that, we have translations available in Spanish, which will be in the chat box.
Una vez más, veremos un video hecho por Tweety y la traducción la pueden seguir en el chat. Thank you.
You have to unmute, Tweety.
And I would like to talk to you about the 2020 census. Aloha. My name is Tweety Fatswesi, and I'm a community organizer with Utopia Seattle. And I would like to talk to you about the 2020 census. The census is a population count that takes place every 10 years. It helps to count every single person living in the United States and its territories. The census is important to me because it helps to inform billions of dollars in federal funding that helps to support and sustain our communities. The results will show where our communities will need new roads, construction, and highway planning. It will help with our school programs, school lunches, Pell Grants, adult education, and child care systems. It will help our communities with Section 8 housing, community development, and federal transit. It even affects our congressional representation, which depends heavily on the population of our community. As a trans woman of color growing up in Percy County, I owe it to myself, as well as the people I care for, to respond to the census. I encourage you to do the same by doing your part in serving your community. And you can do so in one of three ways. You can call the toll-free hotline at 844-330-2020, or you can fill out your census questionnaire and mail it back to the U.S. Census Bureau. Lastly, I encourage you to visit the online website by going to www.my2020census.gov. The extended deadline is now until October 31st. Be sure to count yourself, your family, your friends, your children, your neighbors, your roommates, anyone who lives within your household. Thank you very much.
So while I'm just getting up our slides, I do want to say happy Pride to everyone.
Debbie les quiere desear muy feliz.
I'm going to do this again. And take it away, all of it.
Okay, happy Pride. And so why is the census important to the LGBTQ community? It's because of the 3 Ds. The first D is democracy. Census data is used to divvy up the seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. Second D, decisions. Local governments and NGOs use census data to determine services for housing, jobs, and many more. Lastly, dollars. About 300 federal programs allocate over $800 billion a year based on the stats that are derived from the census.
¿Por qué el censo es tan importante para la comunidad LGBTQ y otras comunidades? Simplemente por las 3D. Democracia. Los datos del censo se usan para dividir, para escoger, para asignar los asientos en el Congreso Nacional. Decisiones. Los gobiernos locales y organizaciones sin fines de lucro y no gubernamentales usan el censo para determinar los servicios que la comunidad necesita. Y los dólares. Aproximadamente 300 programas federales dedican aproximadamente 800 billones de dólares cada año basados en las cuentas del censo, y con todo lo que eso deriva, es muy importante para nuestra comunidad. Thank you.
And the census is very important because there are undercounted populations, such as Black and Brown people, the formerly incarcerated, immigrants, LGBTQ plus communities, children under 5, transgender, and gender non-conforming folks.
El censo generalmente tiene poblaciones que son muy difíciles de contar o que simplemente no se cuentan. Entre ellos se encuentran la gente afrodescendiente, la gente latina, la gente de color, la gente que ha sido o ha estado encarcelada, los inmigrantes, la comunidad LGBTQ, los niños abajo de 5 años y también las personas transgéneros. Thank you.
The census is complicated for many LGBTQ folks because the census does not include questions around sexual orientation or gender identity. However, as we've stated, it's really important that we're counted. And so we want to provide some tips if you choose to take that, how to navigate the census as particularly as a trans and non-binary person. One, because in the question around gender, there's only female or male to choose from. Whatever is most accurate for you, we recommend that you do. You do not have to have it be consistent with what is recorded legally, you can make that choice. Again, what is right for you. Also, if you recorded a certain gender identity in 2020, 2010, it does not have to be the same as 2020. No one's going to be checking that at all. Again, it's what's most accurate for you. If you do choose to leave the gender question blank, there is a possibility that the census might choose your gender identity for you based on perceived name. So that's, again, up to you and what's best for you. Again, for non-binary folks, you only have a choice, unfortunately, and we know that this isn't fair. This is erasing people's identities, and that is not okay. And there are LGBTQ organizations that are fighting against this and have been for a long time. But unfortunately, you only have choices between female and male around gender identity. So we recommend that you still count yourself and that you make an individual choice that's right for you and based on what gives you most self-agency. If you are a parent with a trans child, we recommend that you ask them how they want to be identified in the census and have that conversation. If you are a trans child or a youth, if you feel safe and are able to, we recommend that you do have a conversation with your parent or guardian or family members that would be filling out the census and who's the head of the household, because you matter, you count, and it's still important that you be recorded and identified.
Porque es muy importante la inclusión de las personas transgénero. Es muy importante porque tienen que capturar el deseo, cómo quieren ser registrados, cómo quieren ser contados. No importa que no tenga su preferencia de género legalizada o oficialmente registrada. No tiene tampoco que dejar el espacio en blanco. Puede escoger la identidad con la que usted se siente identificado. También es muy importante escoger, que se sienta libre de escoger su género, cómo quiere ser contado. Para los padres de algún hijo transgénero, se les recomienda preguntarle al niño, al infante, al niño o niña, cómo quieren ser identificados, cómo ellos preferirían ser registrados bajo el censo. Así que les recomendamos hablar con sus hijos, pero es muy importante que sean contados. Thank you.
For bisexual, pansexual, queer, and lesbian and bi inclusion within the census, there's good news and bad news. The good news is that for any people who are married and or are partnered, you have the opportunity of being counted in the census. But the bad news is that that's the main way that LGBTQ folks are being counted. There's a couple ways that we want to make sure that our relationships and families are being counted. So we want to give you a couple more pieces of advice. If you are in a polyamorous relationship, whoever is identified as the head of the household, within the census, you have the opportunity to name the relationship of different people, person 1, person 2, person 2 and 3, 4, and so on. You can identify people in relation to you as married or partnered, and you can do that multiple times. And our advice is that the more accurate your family is portrayed, that is best for everyone. If you are in a kinky or chosen family household, again, the head of the household, you can determine the relationship you have with different people within your household. So person 2, person 3, you can identify possibly some examples or other relative or other. And our advice is that the diversity of families, the most accurate that we are counting ourselves, is best for everyone. For families, LGBTQ families with children, if you are foster parents, foster guardians, kin in any way, please do count the foster kids in your house, whoever was in your house on April 1st. If you have joint custody of any kiddos, if you have 51% of that custody, please count your kiddos. Please count your kiddos if you have 51 or more percent that they are within your household.
Les queremos compartir algunos tips, algunos pequeños consejos para las personas bisexuales, pansexuales, queer, lesbianas o simplemente gay. Las personas deben de contarse a través de su relación, ya sea como solamente como socios del hogar o si están casados. Tienen que identificar la cabeza de familia y después esa cabeza de familia tiene que contar a todas las personas con las que están viviendo en el mismo hogar. Para las familias que tienen niños o que tienen niños adoptados temporalmente, también, y si viven con ustedes esos niños, ese niño o esos niños o esa familia, el 51% del tiempo bajo su cuidado, también los debe de contar, debe de ser contados como un miembro de su hogar. Thank you.
Go ahead, Olivet, you are still on mute.
Also, it is very important that we get data from our homeless population and those who are living in transitional housing. Many people don't realize that for us to provide full data for the total community, community benefit, we must get the data from our homeless population and from those who are going through transitional housing. Census takers do not have to have an identification card, a permanent address, or a cell phone.
Es muy importante que los datos del censo también sean recopilados a través y con la comunidad que vive en las calles o aquellos que viven en casas de transición, en hogares de transición. Mucha gente no se da cuenta que al proveer toda esta información del censo, toda la comunidad se beneficia. Es por eso que es muy importante contarlos a todos, incluyendo a la gente desamparada, la gente que vive en las calles o la gente que vive simplemente en un hogar de transición. Las personas del censo a veces no tienen una tarjeta de identificación o una dirección permanente o un número de teléfono celular. Thank you.
And the census taken either by mail, on the internet, or via the cell phone by going to www.queerthecensus.washington.org or by going to www.my2020census.gov.
Les queremos recordar que el censo puede ser tomado por correo tradicional, en el internet o en su teléfono celular. Si tiene más información, visite la página www.queerthecensuswa.org o www.my2020census.gov. Thank you.
And so, once again, 2020 census via Queer the Census 2020 and part of Seattle Pride. Again, the way to fill out the census, you may go to www.queerthecensuswashington.org or www.my2020census.gov. Also, via telephone, you may access it through these two numbers. The English number is 1-844-330-2020, and the Spanish number is 1-844-468-2020.
Usted puede llenar también el censo por teléfono, en inglés al 1-844-330-2020 o en español 1-844-468-2020. Es el censo 2020, Queer the Census Washington y el Seattle Pride. Thank you.
If you do not have access to the internet, Comcast is offering free internet service to help you to ensure that you're able to complete the census. You will receive a paper form only if you do not respond via internet or the phone. You do not need to have a special code in order to fill out the census. You may just go to www.my2020census.gov and you may fill it out without a code.
Si usted no tiene acceso al internet, Comcast le puede dar una cuenta temporal gratis para que conteste el censo. La forma en papel solamente le llegará a su domicilio si usted no ha contestado el censo en línea por internet. Usted no necesita un código especial para contestar al censo. Si no tiene uno, usted puede ir a la página www.my2020census.gov y ahí lo puede contestar. Thank you.
And on behalf of Queer the Census Washington and Seattle Pride, we thank you very much for attending this presentation, and happy Pride, everybody.
De parte de los miembros de Queer the Census Washington y Seattle Pride, les queremos dar las gracias y les pedimos que participen en el censo. Pueden ver los números de teléfono ahí y las ligas para el internet y tengan un feliz Pride. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, happy Pride.
Happy
Happy
Pride.
Feliz Pride.